All right, good morning, guys. Hey, it is Friday. It's time for activity call time. And Andy Albright has asked us to take over as he is working with a group of people down there in Treasure Island. There are some special invites and some people down there having fun and learning to blow up their business. They've chosen to invest in themselves. Andy's seen what they're doing with the 40-40 challenge. And it's just kind of cool. If you're out there and you're doing the 40-40 challenge and you're using that link and you're sharing your numbers as you fill up those 40-40 buckets, you're going to get noticed and you are going to get invited. You're going to get some of the cool swag that you're seeing that's out there, whether it's the hoodie, whether it's the sweatpants, whether it's a hat. There's some cool stuff. That's the core of what we're doing. So I would invite you to do the work, share the results, get invited, and use that time to get better. Because he's got like Chris Norris is down there, Robbie Kraft, some of our carriers. I saw Brent Bench. It's a cool group of people. And the next time they're doing it, I believe, is going to be coming up in early May up at the cabin. And we call it the cabin like it's a cabin. It's a 10,000 square foot mansion in this beautiful piece of property with ponds and trails and razors. And it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember doing it. In fact, Belle, your husband, Jake, and I, and Brandon, and Joseph Dukes, Joseph should be joining us. We're out there on razors. We about killed ourselves. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we had a blast being on that property, hanging out there. So if you get a chance to get invited to be out at that property with a group of winners, take advantage. It's worth fighting for. 40-40. It's easy. But we're here to talk about alliance advantages. And I guess just talking about having access to the cabin is an advantage. And having people that want to celebrate your growth and be around you is key. But, you know, on Wednesday, we took some time to talk about some of the advantages that we have as a company around the Medicare side. Today, we're going to jump into several advantages that we have for you to take advantage as you are growing. And so with that said, we're going to get into that. We got some awesome winners today. But one of the things we're going to jump into is we're going to just kind of talk about who's been doing the activity. I know we got behind the scenes. I got Steven is helping me out. And so Steven, I see you've got some of those leaderboards. If you can pull those up, that would be awesome. I'd like to be able to go through these. And we're going to just start to acknowledge some of the winners that are winning because we've got a bunch from here. So first thing is James and Pamela, who, by the way, it's funny, happen to be down in Treasure Island as we speak. Their total production issue premium for the week, $37,000 in premium on 10 apps. They had some nice annuity-sized cases in there. So congratulations to them. Maybe we should start at the bottom because we're starting at 10,000 here. And by the way, Stephen, Joseph Dukes is on. So when you get a second, want to promote him, that'd be cool. Let's see. But Wilson Palma Cabrera, part of the Otsoy team up there in Reno at $10,000. Stephanie Rodriguez, we had with us on Wednesday, $10,092 with 10 applications. Stephen and Holly Davies. I was talking to my buddy Stephen Wednesday. It's just crazy what he's got going on, but 8 applications for $10,000. Marvin and Julius Otsoy, $11,500 on 4.6 applications. I think it means he probably split one with somebody. Jennifer Cruz, $14,000 on 1 app. That's probably, I'm guessing, an annuity. Marcus and Carla Richardson, $15,200 premium, 14 apps. Debbie Ben out of Rhode Island, $16,082 on 10 apps. Mike and Carrie Williams, $17,700 with 5 apps. Megan Wood, $18,000 on 44 apps. Jake and Belle Krause, by the way, Megan was with us on this call Wednesday. Jake and Belle Krause here with us today, $20,853 on 14 apps. Way to go, Belle. Linda Goebel, part of Adam Katz's team. Wait, good to see you up there, Linda. 21,000 on premium with 6 applications. Curtis Jones, part of the Katz team, 23,000 in premium on 3 apps. And as I mentioned earlier, James and Pamela are 37,000, 10 apps. Our annuity sales, which again, we couldn't be doing this at this level without the Alliance Advantage. But as you see here, Jeff Turner, 39,000. Heather Lynn coming in at 41,000. Tim Sipe, my buddy out in Phoenix, 47,000. Marcus Richardson, 50,000. Brandon Nelson, part of Brandon Manley's team, 63,000. Wilson Cabrera, 100,000. Jake and Bell, 135,000. Jennifer Cruz, 140,000. Carrie and Mike Williams, 140,000. James and Parallel, 159,000. Linda Goebel, 180,000. Curtis Jones, 200,000. Love seeing the annuities, and that's a tribute to Amber, who's with us today, and what Chris Norris is doing on our submit leaderboards. What we had submitted, hey, we had some big submit numbers this week. This is crazy. If you want to hit me the next page there. Man, Robert Wilson, my buddy Sarge, knocking out 10,000 on 10 apps. Katrina Gustin, 3 apps for 10,000. Jessica Phillips, part of the Cats team, 11 apps, 10,000. Mike Morisi with a new baby a couple months ago, sitting there, 16 apps, 10,600. Olga and Jason Mathis. I was talking to Jason yesterday, and Olga was down training a bunch of people. 14 apps, 11,900. Jeremico High-Low Edwards, 13,000 on 11 applications. Jonathan Megan Yakey, the Wonder Twins, married and kicking butt, 11 apps, 14,000. Stephanie Rodriguez, 11 apps, 14,000. Kyle and Janina Wilson, part of Oakland Jason's team over there in Florida, 17 apps, 15,000. Brant, Surfer Dude, and Angelica Swindle, 17 applications for 16,000. Marisol Diaz Ramirez, 6 apps, 18,000. Debbie Ben, 10 apps, 19,000. Vincenzo Vinny, 12 apps, 20,000. Tim Sipe, 11 apps, 20,000. And Megan Wood, 42 apps for 24,000 submitted. Hey, guys, you got to submit it to get it issued. That's an awesome thing. It's like, I love it. How many of those 15 agents with over 10,000 submitted, and we're rocking. We're going to see some more. Recruiters, hey, with the Alliance Advantages, we got people that are finding folks that want to participate. And Paul, Diane Roberts, Tia and Terry Edwards, Mike Harley, each found 1. Noelle and our staff found 2 this week. Megan Wood, watch out. Her staff is starting to learn how to find people. 3 agents contracted this week. Alex Sabian, Olga and Jason Mathis, Stephen Holly Davies, all with 3 each. Jason, Tony Carey, Joseph 2, 4 each, and Andy Riddle dominating leaderboards with 5 each. Way to go, guys. Okay, let's see. We're looking at final expenses, both submitted and sold, or issued. Submitted and issued. Let's see. Submitted, Kyle and Janina, 6 apps, 3,200. Olga and Jason, 4 apps, 3,300. Megan Wood, 6 apps, 3,300. Jeremica Edwards, 3 apps, 3,300. Scott Mills, 4 apps, 3,500. Jake and Frey Joseph, 4 apps, 4,100. Junior and Jasmine, 10 apps, 5,300. Barbara Lowry, 2 apps, 6,000. Vinny, 3 apps, 6,500. Stephanie Rodriguez, 4 apps, 7,100. Mike Morisi, 8 apps, 7,300. Deborah Boyd, 1 app for 9,600. Way to go. Our final expense issued. Got to get it issued. But Curtis, Jake and Veray, Robert, Lauren, all with about 3,000. Lenoris Washington, Mark Hutchinson, Lee Ray is all in the 5,000. Lisa Lyon, 5,600. Megan Wood, 10 apps for 6,300. Michelle Cullen, 4 apps, 6,800. Stephanie Rodriguez, 4 apps, 7,500. James and Pam, 3 apps, 7,500. And then we got IULs kicking. I'm just going to pay quick. I'll just tell you, on the IULs, it's another dimension. And I think understanding, we're going to uncover some things as we're talking with BAM and how there's tools that can help you with your IULs that it's going to kind of blow your mind. Some of the things we're going to be talking about. So Alliance Advantages. So you're here, you're tuned in, you're probably with us. Maybe you're here and you're checking things out. You're wondering, hey, how real is this deal? Maybe you've come from another company. Maybe you had your license before and you're wondering how good is this or what's different. And this is the only program I've been with my entire career. This is the only program I've been with. Why is that? I've never had to look anywhere else. Anytime we've had a need or an inefficiency or something, Andy Albright and his staff have found a way to take that problem or opportunity and make it better. And so I'm grateful for that. But it's funny, I get to learn a lot about other situations or problems out there in the industry. And I'm able to look at what we have and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, we don't have that problem because here's what we do. I think the other day we were talking about leads and somebody was talking about how they're with this other company, they're having to like hop on planes to fly to all these markets. And, once upon a time we had some agents do that, but with our different lead sources, we can focus in one area and grab multiple leads and be in the same geographic area and focus on building a business of clients where we're going back to. And now we've got the different tools. And that's part of the things we're going to hit on today is the different tools. We were talking about Medicare the other day. Today, we're going to talk about the other financial products and things that BAM helps us identify. And it's just some crazy stories that we've uncovered that we're going to be sharing with you today. And we're going to kind of jump into that a little bit. And so I'm going to get started here. Amber, I get you to say hi. I know we give Chris Norris a lot of credit for what he's done with BAM, Burlington Alliance Capital Management, our registered investment advisor. But Amber, you've been quietly there as a big piece of what's happening. And I just want people to, know who you are and to talk about some things you're doing and some of the things that you're seeing with BAM. And we're going to kind of weave in some more of these stories. But some people know you because of roles you used to play, but I don't know if everybody really knows the power that you're bringing and helping Chris out and building that empire over there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Chris is doing a lot of awesome things over here at BAM. And for those who don't know me, my name is Amber, and I've worked here with the Alliance for 9 years. I started off as Andy Albright's assistant, which was a lot of fun. But now that he's moved to Florida, there's not much need for me here in Burlington. So I have transferred over here to the Burlington Alliance Capital Management, and I am loving it over here. It is super cool, super, super fast paced. Not that Andy wasn't fast paced, but now I get to basically help everybody out. So it's a really beautiful thing. Just kind of a quick overview of what BAM is. So like Mike was saying, we are a registered investment advisory firm. We've partnered with the Alliance. We are a resource that Andy has provided to put us in place to help the agents sell more annuities. Obviously, more annuities means bigger commissions and more money. So we like that. Chris, he's able to, cha-ching, exactly. Belle knows all about it. So Chris, he's able to assist our agents and our clients on the phone by digging a little bit deeper when you're talking to your clients to find out what exactly your client's financial or retirement goals are. And just to be able to give you the best recommendation on an annuity that is best for your client. Some funds, they may or may not be able to get moved over into an annuity, but he's security licensed, which means, and he's also got an insurance license. So with that securities license, it kind of gives him a little bit more knowledge with all the suitability rules and the investment regulations. So it's really, really awesome to be able to have that asset, to be able to bring him in when you're talking about your client's retirement funds and to add him into the mix to help pick what is the best place to put their money. So some of the things that I get to do here at BAM, I run illustrations for Chris. I run illustrations for our agents that work with BAM. I help you guys fill out the annuities. Some people, they want us to fill out the entire annuity and go through the entire process. That kind of leaves all of the other stuff to us, and you don't have to worry about anything except for getting the signatures for your agent, for your clients, and getting paid. That's it. We actually help you guys take care of the suitability. We deal with the annuity carriers when they come back asking for different requirements. And we even help with transferring those funds from wherever their retirement funds are over to the annuity. And one of the ways that we do that is we can open up move money market accounts. So to open up a money market account, we work with a brokerage firm called TD Ameritrade. And what we'll do is we set up an application with your client. We get them set up. And basically, like if they have retirement funds with a company like Fidelity Investments or other brokerage firms, we can open up the account with TD Ameritrade and we can move all of their retirement funds all under one roof. So all under TD Ameritrade, which is actually us managing it. So we're a lot easier to work with, and we are happy to send money out easily, opposed to other brokerage investment advisors. They don't want to let go of their clients' money. So because of Chris's securities license and where he stands with the brokerage firm, we actually can move that money without the other investment advisor getting involved. So they don't have to talk your client out of moving their money. We can just do it. So that's one of the benefits of us being able to move money for you guys. It's really big for us to have a seamless process. I guess one of the best ways to kind of explain this is to give a really, really prime example, which I've been working with Jan a lot on a case for a husband and wife. And they had about $300,000 in some retirement funds. And Jan, she set up an appointment with Chris. She filled out a green sheet. She got all their information. She took pictures of their statements with their 401ks that they had. And they all got on the phone with Chris, and Chris was able to recommend 2 amazing annuities for them that was going to get them the biggest return. They were still kind of conservative with not wanting to have their money all in the market, obviously. So that's why the annuity was better for them, because they're not going to lose anything. But they also didn't want to have all of their funds tied up into an annuity where they couldn't touch it for 10 years. That's important for them, but it's also important on the suitability side for annuities. You can't put all of your money into an annuity, because annuity people, they know that you need funds in case something crazy was to happen. So you need funds that are still liquid. It doesn't have to be a ton, but just a little bit has to be liquid for you to pass suitability with the annuity carriers. So they talked about their funds, and this couple, they wanted to keep about 50,000 liquid. So we were able to write 2 different annuities for her clients. We did 2 different annuities at $150,000. So we've actually worked on transferring all of those funds over to TD. Yay! We transferred all of those funds over to TD. We transferred about a total of $350,000, and we are in the process. Her annuities are getting issued, and we are in the process of sending the $150,000 each for each of those annuities, which is going to leave them $50,000 at TD Ameritrade. And on top of that, Jan actually gets paid on that $50,000 that gets left at TD Ameritrade, because we now have a system in place that gives her a solicitor's fee. So as long as they have money in the account, she's going to get paid every single month off of that account, which is awesome. So that was what was best for the client. That was, they wanted some funds liquid, and that also helped that client pass suitability. And now that Jan did the right thing for her clients and met their needs, they're going to be repeat business for her. And that's just part of our retention strategy over here at BAM.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's so much that you just said, like, and I want to take a second just to kind of unpack some of that, like, because we've got some new agent whose head just kind of exploded, or they caught half of that, and it's like we've got gray matter over their wall probably. So we got to give them a chance to clean it up. But here's what I heard. Number one, Amber knows a lot of stuff about this. So she's not just there to look good and help Chris. She knows stuff. Like, I hope y'all see that. Like, just like, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying that because I'm surprised. I want y'all to know she is learning and training, and she's like she is a part of BAM. It's like she's as important to BAM as Chris is in a lot of ways. So I want people to just pick up on that and understand that. And so if you can't get Chris, the first thing is knowing that Amber is available. She's a big part of this, and she has access, especially on a lot of the finer details of how things work there, and getting like the TD Ameritrade set up. And like, I thought the annuity was going to be with Nassau Re or American Equity. What's this TD Ameritrade thing for? Well, that's like part of the delivery process to make it happen. That's part of the magic vacuum that we use to suck the money out of their other account. That's like, it's part of this. That's kind of like part of how we make the sausage. I mean, so you kind of got to know a little bit. You don't necessarily have to be able to explain every tiny detail of that, but if you're confused, Amber is another resource to help you out on that, I think. And so I just said that's a huge, huge thing. I want to get Jan to talk more about that case and kind of how she started, how that evolved, and as she started to lead in. Chris, I see you're there. You've been able to join us too. Were you itching to say something on that?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Amber is a valuable resource. she has learned a tremendous amount in a short period of time. So if you guys didn't catch everything she said, that's okay. I think Mike hit it when he said that, if I'm not in the office, talk to Amber. She knows this in and out. She understands the fact that clients need to have liquidity. She understands the fact that, TD Ameritrade is going to be involved because the money's going to go from where it's at now through TD Ameritrade to the annuity. She understands the fact that the process is going to go this way. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. She understands that's the way it goes. She's the person that's helping facilitate that transaction for you guys. So that's the biggest thing that I took away from everything that she just said, is that she understands the process, guys. She's the person that's spearheading that process. Again, she's an integral part of that. So that's why I said, Mike says she's just as important. She's very integral to that process. So you guys need to get to know Amber even more so now. I mean, go ahead, Mike. But yeah, I mean, just listening to that, it makes me very, very appreciative, because again, I don't get to hear that every day. We sit 25 feet apart. We're sitting 2 different offices. I get to listen in and hear what she does, but I don't get to hear her speak as much as I should. But I need to get her on these calls more often so that she can impress you guys the way she just did to me, because again, she has learned a tremendous amount, and you guys need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, big deal here. All right, so I'm kind of what you were sharing, Amber, a good segue into Jan. So Jan, just let people know who you are, kind of where you're at business wise, and kind of talk about how you found this one couple that Amber is describing.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jan Miller, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've been doing this. I've been actually in the business for 15 years. I was captive agent for 8.5 years and moved over here after realizing that I just wasn't doing enough for people. And so now that we added the Medicare piece back into it, it's huge. And so my business is growing with a lot of help from Mike and Noel, doing a lot of work and a lot of recruiting and getting coached, and plan on making the Alaska trip once again. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be an amazing trip. That's good. But I'm also exploring all the different ways that we have with leads, all the different types. And I had been speaking with Clay, and we talked about the orphans, and he has somebody who started booking their current client leads for me. And they are not necessarily in my area, but they're in states that I'm licensed in. So this was a current client lead that was booked for me. And I spoke to the man. He's such a nice man. We got a great rapport, and he has life insurance. And then just digging a little bit and finding out more about him, found out about the 2 IRAs. And we spoke several times. He was trying to get his Zoom to work, and he couldn't get it done. So we finally wound up, he said, I really want to talk to him, even if I can't see him. So we set up a phone call, and I had told him about Chris. I mean, part of our process is edifying. So edifying ahead of time so that he knows who Chris is and how important it is to keep the appointment, and that he has a lot of experience. So we got on the phone, and he asked good questions, and it was very easy for them to build a relationship because of the edification. And I had given Chris not just the green sheet, but I typed out, and just some information on this scenario. An older man, he's taking care of his wife. He has power of attorney, all those kind of things. And so we got on the phone, and Chris talked to him about it and suggested a couple of things, and he was just thrilled. and he had ideas for what he wanted to do with the other 50,000. So he's let Chris know, and it'll be taken care of just the way he wants it done. And it's amazing, because I never thought that I could do this without meeting him.
So
And
go ahead. I hear about 3 or 4 things I want to highlight that you said. I kind of want to expand on, but I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say it's an amazing thing when you realize that, I guess a lot of it is because of COVID and being, the way we've now been able to do business, that now we can do this.
Yeah. And I'm going to kind of echo a couple of things. I think one of the things is you talk about doing stuff remotely. I think one of the things is for anybody that's building their business and learning the business, we're finding the best way to do it is face-to-face. But once you've got a client, even Megan Wood, once she's got a client and we've got their trust, we've got their details, and even if it's a current client, because they're a client of the Alliance, they're being assigned to you, there's already a relationship. It's easier to build on that remotely if they're already a client. So I think I want to, in case we have somebody that hears this and says, oh, I can do everything over the phone. I say, hey, easy, cowboy. Careful. Learn the business, build your practice face-to-face is my biggest coaching to anybody, because there's so many nuances you need to learn. But then there are opportunities for secondary sales and follow-ups remotely, which Janice pointed out. So that's one big piece there. And that, yes, there's a number of tools we've got to help us help families remotely. Second, that current client lead, another Alliance advantage. We have so many lead things. We were talking about different lead sources on Wednesday, and this is just another one I don't think we even mentioned, but for somebody that's got some experience, you've done several of the product types, you've helped clients with secondary sales already. We have this other current client lead source. If you're talking to Ashland or Clay, it's another tool you can inquire about, but please make sure you've got your game up to speed before we jump in there. And how do you know? Talk with your agency manager, talk with Ashland, talk to Clay. Maybe you're ready for something like that. Just careful, but it's another tool that's out there. Here's the next thing I heard Jan say is, hey, this client needed their money to go into 3 different buckets was the solution. They needed some in a long-term annuity, some in a more medium or shorter-term annuity, and needed something liquid. And they wanted all 3 of them to grow more than what their current cash in their bank account was giving them. Is that right, Jan?
Exactly.
And it's funny because when you first start, you hear annuities, part of your reaction is, oh, they've got 350,000. We need to put all of it into an annuity. And our Neanderthal response, or I know some other places out there, competitors, I'll just call them Neanderthals because they're thinking, have sledgehammer, must pound annuity. And they're not thinking about the client. They're just so excited that there's me found annuity. Ooh. It's like, caveman must drag woman by hair out the door. It's just like, come on, could you have a little bit more thought about who the client is and what they need? And that's where Chris and Amber and Bam come in, is because they're going to help you if you will take the time to actually stay a little bit humble, be excited, but like duck with feet under the water, moving quickly under the surface, but be very calm, cool, and be gathering the information, gathering the notes, and get the information to Chris, edify Chris, get that appointment. You're more likely to win with him on your side, especially with a bigger case. And typically when you have bigger amounts, the solution may be more sophisticated than what you might imagine. And if there's one thing I can tell you, the bigger the dollar amount, the more complicated the solution might be needed to make. And that's where they're going to help you win, especially if you're in a competitive environment. Because guess who you're fighting against? Neanderthal Ned, is one case. Or you might be talking to somebody else that's more sophisticated, but on the brokerage side, who is what I call all of it in the market. And so you got Neanderthal Ned and his one-shot annuity thing. And then you got the brokerage side who's just hungry about his fees and keeping all the money there. Well, if you can bring Chris in, Chris has got the level-headedness to see that there's probably a balanced solution that's needed. And he's going to help you win. And he's going to help you win because he's focused on what the client needs for the right balance of safety and risk and liquidity. And if you get that and you understand that, I'm telling you, it's like having Warren Buffett on your shoulder when you walk in to talk with these clients. And so that's the biggest thing I want people to take from this. It's a huge advantage, because if you're just like Johnny Independent Agent or Neanderthal Ned and you're going to the carrier's not going to help you think like this. The carriers, we got great carrier reps, to be clear, but they're not going to help you think what's the best blended solution for the client. They're going to think, how do I get you to sell my product at as much of it as possible? And I'm not saying that in a derogatory. We got some great carriers that understand their own suitability, but guess what their job is? Move their product. Okay. So big things. So Jen, that's a great case. You've got another case with this young kid you were telling me about this morning that I think, again, really highlights some of the advantages of working with BAM. Can you take us through that a little bit?
Sure. I called a client down in southern New Jersey, and a nice woman, she has a final expense policy. She has a couple of kids. Well, one of them, she has a grandchild who's 16 that lives with her. And he lives with her because last year, both of his parents died separately. And so she and her other son are co-guardians. And the son, there was life insurance in place. So there's $50,000 that's sitting, that's earning no money. Also, there will be another $170,000 when he turns 18, which we can't touch now because it's in a trust in the court. So we have opportunities, but at 16, an annuity is really not a great idea. So he has some challenges. So we are looking at, they want him to have some life insurance. So we work on that. And that's not going to be a huge ticket, but Chris is going to manage the other money. So he'll manage the 50,000, and then in less than 2 years, there'll be another 170,000. So without Chris, I have nothing to do there, except maybe a small life insurance policy. And that's a huge thing, because that then opens up a lot of other possibilities.
Okay, so let's talk about, so 50,000, we're setting that up in what, a TD Ameritrade account? Is that correct? Is that what we're doing? Then is Chris, you want to talk more about the details of what that solution looks like for people that are wondering?
Yeah.
Chris,
Yep, I can. Yep.
Okay.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be a conservative managed account. We're gonna use that. We'll actually fund the life insurance for the family. So we'll help that start funding the life insurance to use that for his IUL, for future planning, for retirement. But yeah, moderate conservative account. The grandmother and the uncle want to manage that for the 16-year-old. Again, they're looking out for his welfare, again, best interests of the child, and then use that to pay for the life insurance, and don't have to take that out of the monthly budget. And then, as Jan said, moving forward, the opportunity is to continue to grow wealth for the child and manage that for his future. So this is an ongoing planning project. So you got a 16-year-old child that, for perpetuity purposes, we're going to be able to plan for the next 50 years, doing the right things as he grows, as he goes through college, as he gets a family, as he does all the retirement needs. Anything that's going to come about, we're going to be able to manage this. So there are multiple opportunities moving forward. And as Jan said, had we not had the opportunity for the lead that started as a final expense lead, we would not have the opportunity to do anything for this family without, starting that basic conversation. And I think that's the biggest thing, is it starts with the basics. That's where it all starts. Starts with the basics.
So we get good at the basics on working with leads and running your business, and then be aware of opportunities, and then call in the tools that we've got with Chris and Amber to help out there. And I think that's just crazy, because, again, otherwise, what would you have done? Well, you could say, well, let's sell them an annuity. Well, that's not properly liquid enough, or let's do it all on IUL, maybe, but then but what are we going to do with the money meanwhile? and they might be tempted to do other things. So now with the money under the TD Ameritrade account, it's going to make sure that that IUL gets paid every year without any question, because we have control over the full solution. And now that there's a relationship, in 2 years when the other 170,000 comes available, we're now in a position to capture that. And again, it's like, it's another form of residual income. My client's going to have more money. I'm going to earn more because I'm providing more service to this client at the next phase. And I think that's powerful when you really start to slow down and think about that. And you play the long game here. You play the short game by working like crazy, but doing it by working smart and engaging with Chris and Amber on stuff like this. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Gosh, that's crazy. All right. I'm going to jump over to Joseph Dukes. Joseph, you had a case you were telling me about where you were kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't know such a solution existed. Talk about kind of where, first of all, where'd that client come from? How did you meet the client? How did you find this person that you were talking with?
Well, it's another tool that we have. We have this thing called the ARC, and there's another acronym in there called a CRM, which inside the CRM, there's this really cool tool that Robbie Kraft, he's been keeping hidden. No, he hasn't. It's called the Today tab. And so I was going through my Today tab after a serious talk with Robbie, and I had, like 230 items on my Today tab I needed to do. So I actually called one of my clients on my Today tab and booked a time to sit down and chat with her. It was interesting because I love conversions. I love writing policies that we can convert, but this was a policy that I'd already written a smart UL on her. Really, we can't convert past that, but I just called her to talk with her and do a policy review. And during the policy review, she pulled out this other policy, this other annuity, and it was a SEP IRA, which I've rolled over 401ks to IRAs, but I didn't understand the tax laws. So I told her, hey, we were going to get Chris on the phone. I got Chris and her and I scheduled to do a 3-way call. And Chris actually explained to me that she's 71. So she's in the next year, she's going to have to start pulling money out of her SEP IRA due to the RMD law, which I didn't know. Chris told me this, and she is still running her own company at 71. She has no plans to retire. She's putting $900 a month into it. And so Chris went out and found a product because I didn't know where to find it, but there's not all annuities can I take a self-employed IRA and move it over into a solo 401k. And a lot of this stuff was going over my head at Mach 5, and Chris just slowed down and explained it to me like 5 or 6 times until my, slowness caught up. And now we're looking at being able to put her in a position to where she doesn't have to take her RMD right now because she does not need to. She wants to still be putting money into a retirement account. We can still make it to where it still runs tax to deferred. And truthfully, I wouldn't have been able to do this without BAM and without Chris, and knowing that I have someone on speed dial that if I need something, and if I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room, so I can literally just ask Chris, and he's never made me feel, dumb. I feel dumb a lot of times, but he always slows down and like brings it down to my level and says, okay, if you don't understand this, let's take it down another level. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, if you guys have not called BAM, if you have not called Amber, if you've not called Chris, it's kind of like knowing how to read and not reading is just as bad as not ever reading a book. We have all the tools, and we have tools that nobody else has. I was interviewing a guy the other day, and he was talking about his company. I just asked him, I'm like, so what do you do with annuities? He's like, it's something we do. I'm like, how much business do you write? So, 30,000 a month. I'm like, and you've never written an annuity? He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, because you don't have a Chris Norris. So you don't have someone that you can call because the kid just doesn't understand it. So,
yeah. He's going to be another Neanderthal Ned if he don't get with the program, So, all right. Now you said something that I think let's take a second to clarify. And Chris, if you want, or Amber, if you want to jump in, you said RMD, like everybody listening knows what RMD is. So Joseph, you want to explain what RMD is, or you want to let Chris do that?
I understand, but I'd love to have Chris explain it since he can explain it, better.
So the RMD is just the required minimum distributions. That's just what the IRS makes you take when you hit a certain age out of your IRAs or qualified accounts. And that's just money that you put in pre-tax, right? So your 401ks, your 403bs. So if you were doing a retirement account, the IRS makes you take a minimum amount out of those each year when you hit a certain age. That age now is 72. So this lady that Joe was talking about, because she was doing an IRA, she was going to have to take money out starting next year at 72. She didn't want to have to do that. There's a rule that says, hey, you can actually roll that SEP IRA to an employer sponsored plan and avoid that. Well, because she's an individual employer, she could roll it to her own solo 401k or solo K. So we went and found one of our carriers that allows you to do a solo K. And that allows her not to have to take that distribution because she's still working, and she's a lot like us in the Alliance, where she actually has people that work underneath her, and they're going to continue to do that. She's going to continue to have it in even when she does slow down. So she really doesn't ever plan to stop working. So having this for her is a big deal because she doesn't ever really want to take money out of this account if she doesn't have to. So it's a powerful tool that we're going to be able to do and save her a lot in tax moving forward.
All right. So 3 things we're going to highlight here. So number one, Joseph found the client because of the CRM. By the way, if you're with us, you have a CRM. It's being fed for you with every application you write ends up in the CRM. And your client's birthday's in there, so you have a birthday alert. And it's on your Today tab. You might have just started a couple months ago. Look at your Today tab. Go in there now. I'm not offended if you pause this or whatever it is, but go look at it and see who's in there. Make a few calls. What do I say? Start with happy birthday. And then while you're singing or saying happy birthday, you might think of something else more intelligent to say, but I need a script. How are you doing? What's changed? We can get into more detail, but how about just be a friend? People are craving for connection and friendship. If you would just start there, you'll be better than your competition. So I implore you to start doing that now, even if you're just starting your business. And if you're like Joseph, you got 300, don't be intimidated. If you got 300 birthdays you fell behind on, don't be intimidated. Just start with one. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, one client at a time. Don't be intimidated. Just start somewhere. Second thing, what did Chris deliver here? He knew the tax laws. Hell, I didn't even know there was a way to avoid RMD. I didn't know. I've dealt with clients. I just had no idea that oh no, you can't avoid RMD. It's a government. We found a back door. We found a magic trick. Why? Because we got Chris Norris. Chris Norris knows the magic tricks. Are you calling him? Or are you just assuming, oh, it can't be done? Again, Neanderthal response. Okay, can't be done. No way. Everybody else. No, that's what I would have thought too. I'm guilty of being Neanderthal Ned, but Joseph got Chris involved, found a solution. Third, we actually had to have the right product that complied with the special backdoor solution, so Chris knew that too. So if I can get people just to see there's stuff that you don't know, but when you engage with a bigger team, and that's a huge thing as you start to find money and really get with that. All right, Joseph, thank you for doing that. Chris, thank you for being there. Belle Krause, you guys, holy cow, girl, top of leaderboards, doing stuff. We've had you talking before. Just kind of quick, let people know very, very quickly your background. And then a couple of these big cases that have been popping up where, things you've learned from that.
So we're out here in Puyallup, Washington. Jake and I have been with the Alliance for just shy of 5 years now. And before the Alliance, I was a stay-home mom. Was not in the workforce for over a decade before that. So when you talk about not being the smartest person in the room when it comes to business, I am grateful I'm not the smartest, because if people are relying on me to have the knowledge, we're all hosed. The ship is sinking. I am not the solution. But something I learned early on is I don't have to be. I just have to know where to go to get them. And Chris Norris and Amber are where we go to get them. And I'm so grateful. I have to tell you guys, Amber is amazing. I had a client, not tech savvy at all, tried so hard to sign a DocuSign. And she was so patient with him. And like 3 days of multiple attempts to sign a DocuSign, and she got him through it. She got him through it. So it's that kind of patience, and he's grateful too, because of course he was embarrassed that he couldn't do something that he thought, was so normal for everybody else. But just being kind and patient with him along the way, and not being frustrated with him, it just really adds to the service level that we bring. And so for me and my journey with annuities, I laugh when I think about it. I think about all the conferences that I would sit down to lunch with, look for Chris at a table. It's like, Chris, help me with this. What am I doing wrong? Where's the disconnect? And he told me for the 2 years, it's like, Belle, it's got to be something little in there, because you're bringing cases in, they're just not coming through. And then finally it clicked, and it's that full picture, not the Neanderthal Ned. Because you'd see it. And I had such a limited understanding. I didn't know the right questions to ask. And when I finally learned I wasn't asking enough questions, I started asking every question. I mean, people, when they sit down with me, I give them a financial root canal. They don't have a penny sitting in the floorboard of their car that I don't know about, and what they want done with that penny. Do you want to dust it off? Do you want to leave it there? What's your goal with that penny? Right? Not because I know what to do with it, because I'm going to transfer this information to Chris. And so a lot of what I do is I just tell the clients that we have access to wealth management. And when you pose it that way, it lets them know it's a multifaceted service. I don't tell them we have access to annuities. We have access to the market. We have access to wealth management, and that requires a lot of moving parts. And most people like to have all of that under one roof, so that every piece knows how it's functioning with each other toward the goals that you have. Many people will ask, well, what's the best solution? And that depends on your goals, your timeline, and the resources you have to work with. So let's get all that on paper so we can design that with a team that suits what you need. And we're going to get Chris Norris involved. He's the Chuck Norris. And I love using that because most of the generation with the wealth that we're working with right now, they know who Chuck Norris is. He's the man, right? I'm aging myself. I know that, but that's okay. That's the demographic I'm working with. I'm like, his name is Chris Norris, but he's the Chuck Norris of wealth management. He can knock that stuff out of the park. So if you really want to see what you can do with what you have, let's get you on a call with Chris and let's bring this all together. And I love, because it is multifaceted. People know when you're in a money grab. They have these resources. You're not the first person to talk to them about that. They can recognize when you're in a money grab, just trying to be that Neanderthal Ned, put it all, in an annuity, or put it all with one broker, or put it all. They can tell that, and most of us know in life, most solutions to our problems are not one big thing. It's multifaceted. So when you have someone that's willing to have a conversation with you about your money that says there's a piece that fits here and there's a piece that fits here, and because you specifically want to do this thing, this piece fits that, right? And you start tailoring it to what they need. People are open at that point. They trust you because you are looking at them, not their money. When you can look at them and not their money, they will trust you with their money.
Yeah, that is big. Chris and I were chatting the other day, and I was just asking, so what's something that is really helping Belle elevate her game? And one of the things Chris said is, he said, Belle is delivering impeccable, detailed notes. And he wasn't necessarily saying the beauty of her handwriting. But just the notes of the case, like saying just like what you said is accounting for every dollar that's there and what they're trying to do. And so, Chris, I don't know if you want to comment on that, because I think, just the fact that you're not trying to be selling the solution as much as just gaining an understanding of where they're at and what they're trying to do. And then say, I've got a guy that's going to help out, and being open to that. There's somebody that really is smarter than me or you as an agent that can help out. But Chris, what are the things that, other than the things you might see that you think Belle is doing that's helping her game that's really changed?
Yeah, I think, the evolution that Belle talked about from our very first conversation on what are we missing, or where does it begin? From those very first conversations at the table with her and Jake to now was, she has gone very much from the mentality of a transaction to a goal-based planning or a needs-based analysis. What I mean by that is when you look at what she used to send me, which was, hey, here's a green sheet. This is, they have this amount of money in an account, to, hey, this is what they have now, and this is where they're trying to get to. They've got a pension plan. They're retiring at age 62. They need this amount of money because they're going to go on this trip. They want to buy this car. They want this amount because they're going to use it for this grandson's education. I mean, she has it down. Like she said, they're going to dust off this penny, but she has so much detail in the notes that she sends to me that when I have a conversation, a lot of my conversations start off, if you've ever been on a phone call with me, the first thing I ask them is, hey, Belle, share with me y'all's conversation. Tell me what you guys want to try to accomplish. And I get the clients talking. I already know this stuff. Belle has already given me all this data, and I know, but she has laid out the path. It's kind of like a roadmap. She has such a good roadmap already laid out. I know where I'm going to go. I know if there's any pitfalls already. So it's really easy for us to navigate, and I can go there and not really have any question marks. It's easy for us to lay that plat. Like she said, I know where the puzzle pieces fit already because of so much detail. That helps. There's no surprises. So if you can get that level of detail, the other thing that I think it really sells a lot, in what she's doing, is she's gaining so much rapport and so much trust. Because if they're able to tell you that much, that the trust level is very, very high because they're giving you all that information. So you can tell that she built an exceptional amount of trust and rapport with the clients. But that's the biggest thing that I see, is that they're really, given that amount of detail and trust with her. So my conversation is really easy. And then Mike, you and I've had this conversation before. That's where it starts, right? You've got to build rapport.
Everything we do starts there. That's
everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else starts there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to get your final. You're not going to get your
that's
final
massive,
expense.
but I think, yeah.
Okay. So Belle.
No, not at all.
Belle, go ahead and break down some details of like the last couple of cases, some of the bigger cases you've got, and share with us like where the relationship came from and steps you take, and how, what did the solution look like?
Okay. So a lot of mine, it's actually been a mix. I went through last night and just jotted down some of the numbers. I've had 8 annuities issue in the last 5 months for just over $2.4 million. So that straddles the calendar year, but it's in the last 5 months, 8 annuities issue. And of those, there's current clients, there's referrals, and there's new leads, that we had met with and found a solution for. So it's been a mix. And some of the unique things that we've been able to do, I remember one time Terry Edwards talking about a now and later. When you start laying out all the resources people have and their timeline for what they need when, that's when you can really slow down and look at solution-oriented plans. And so, we're working with people who may want to retire in 3 years, and they have a resource that's available now, and then they're going to have another resource available in 3 years, right? And my philosophy is when I approach any client, when it comes to finances, money belongs in the Alliance house, because I trust our ethics, I trust our morals, and I trust our service-oriented goals. So if they have money anywhere, it belongs in the Alliance house under management with BAM, or in annuities or in IULs, but it belongs in the Alliance house because we can use our tools, and I know we are serving them. I can't say that about the other people out there, the other companies out there. I'm not to say they're not, I just can't say they are. I don't know. So when I look at their resources and I can start breaking it down for them. I have this couple that we're working with. It was the fellow had a hard time signing his DocuSign. They got 7 different pots of money that become accessible over different time frames for the next 3 years. And if you can help them lay out their goals to beginning and show them on a timeline their resources, when they're going to access it and for what goal, it creates a roadmap in their mind. So they've already put all their money with you in their mind, even though it's not accessible to even them yet. In their mind, it's coming to your resource because you've showed them the way. This is where it's going to go, and this is why it's going to go there for the goal that you had. So that unique case with them, they had 7 pots of money, but they're not real tech savvy or anything like that. And it was managed by 4 different entities, and no one had ever put it all on one piece of paper for them before. They had no idea. Just getting it all on one piece of paper and showing them the restrictions on this account and what you're allowed to do with this account. And so having BAM there to do that. So now all I did was write it down in one place. But to them, that was huge because no one else was willing to look at everything before. They were just trying to take a piece for themselves. They didn't want to look at the whole picture. And so being able to bring that to Chris, and then Chris saying, this piece is an annuity solution. This piece is a managed fund solution. This piece is another solution. And for when people see you have those different pieces in there, it just builds the credibility and trust because they know you're not just trying to do all one thing for yourself. And because it's more than just you, it's a team. Now they feel confident because there's more knowledge in the room. They're not trusting just you. They're not trusting just Chris. It is now a team, and they're trusting a team, and they know somebody on their team is going to catch something if something goes sideways. And so that particular couple was a unique case because it's timelined out. There's going to be more there. Over 1.5 million over the next 3 years is going to move into the Alliance house, either under management with Chris or into annuities or whatever else. But it started with the pieces that just happened. So, and then that'll be a continuing process.
No, I was going to say that's huge. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm just sitting here thinking, so I'm sitting here with my calculator too. For those that are wondering, here's a big question before you jump on the next case. So 2.4 million in the last few months, 5 months in annuities. Let's talk about what the impact is revenue-wise to you real quick, for those that are probably wondering. Annuity commissions can be all over the map, but is it safe to say on the grid the average might be about 5%?
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody's at a 100-point contract, 5% of 2.4 million is an extra 120,000 in income over the last 5 months just from the annuity side. Am I close? Low, high, right on?
You're in the ballpark.
In the ballpark. Okay. So an extra 120,000. What's that do for your business as you guys are focused on going partner? How's an extra 120,000 in cash infused over 4 or 5 month period outside of your other commissions and overrides? How's that help your business?
We were able to hire another staff member and confidently know that their salary for the year is already in the bank. It's already in the bank. So I know that, I can confidently do that. When hiring staff, to me, that's an added responsibility. Someone else's family's livelihood is in my hands, and I take that very seriously. And so now I can confidently do that and not feel the level of anxiety that I would have before. It also allows us to invest in travel, to go out to see our agents, to get new people started, and to confidently be able to invest in newer people getting started and pay it forward. When we first started, people invested their time in us. They would come out here and meet with us at our hotspots and things like that. Well, now it's our turn to be those people. It's our turn to get out there and to meet with our agents and to do ride-alongs with them and to show them and to invest in leads with them. So we're able to invest in. I know there's a younger generation out there that are gamers, right? My son and my daughter, they love playing these multiplayer online games. So what this does in that terminology is you get to buy an advantage. you get to buy an advantage in this game of building your business to partner, right? For us older people, maybe we stayed the night with our grandparents and we watched, what is that, Wheel of Fortune, and you could buy a vowel to help you solve the puzzle. We get to buy an advantage. And by that, I mean, we get to have an extra staff member now. So that takes stuff off our plate so we can concentrate on more income producing activities. We get to buy the advantage of going out and breaking bread face to face with our agents and with the people that they want to get started and their new people that they're bringing on. You know, we can show up in their city and say, hey, let's all get together and go to lunch. Let's talk around the table and so that they can see that you're real and that this isn't just some smoke and mirrors. That this is, y'all, over $115,000 in my bank account in the last 90 days. Some people work 2 years to get that, 90 days. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And so when you can buy an advantage like that, it's you can't put a dollar sign on that. I don't know what that's going to cultivate down the road. And so whenever you get the opportunity to invest in yourself and your business, take it, because that is the biggest ROI out there.
Speaking of which, all right, we're going to close on this note. Investing in yourself, Alliance Advantage. Andy Albright's got the Jets warmed up. He's leaving Treasure Island. He'll be in Atlanta on Sunday night. There's a hot spot there. I'll call it a boot camp Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. They're going to be in Wichita, Kansas on Monday. They're going to be in Cleveland, Ohio on Tuesday. They're going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana on Wednesday, and they're going to be back in Burlington on Thursday. 5 boot camps in 5 days. Chance for you to be around several players. Megan Wood is traveling with Andy. I'm not sure who else, but there's other heavy hitter top agents and staff traveling with Andy. You want to meet them. People on your team want to meet them. It's going to help. And then the next big thing on your calendar, May 7th and 8th, we are back to pulling people together and having fun in the Alliance. It's like, you know, we got the seashell and they're doing the call and people are coming in. It's going to be massive. Don't miss out, because we've been building momentum this quarter and you're going to see and hear some crazy stuff, whether it's being around Chris and Amber, being around Belle or Joseph or Jan, picking their brains. 7th and 8th of May, be there, register. We might have a max limit because there's still some restrictions out there, but my gosh, don't be 1,001. I think they got it capped at 1,000. Don't be the 1,001. Please register. Go on the ARC, look at upcoming events, get yourself registered, be there. Guys, thank you all. We've got master advantages. Let's get to work and use them. We'll see y'all. Bye.